The U.S. Coast Guard announced during a Thursday press conference that the missing Titan's pressure chamber was found among other debris, approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor by an ROV. Ocean Gate, the private company that offers the $250,000 a seat expedition to the wreck of the Titanic, confirmed that the 5 passengers aboard the vessel are now believed dead. What really happened to the Ocean Gate Submersible and the 5 people inside? These questions cannot be left to speculations or mere assumptions, as searches are now being concluded on the perilous Ocean Gate Titanic Expedition, which started off the coast of St. John's, Newfoundland in Canada on Sunday, the 19th of June 2023. The entire voyage was supposed to take just 2.5 hours, but Polar Prince, the research vessel they were working with, lost contact with the Titan approximately an hour and 45 minutes into the trip, triggering a desperate search for the missing sub. What could have happened? One of the most probable things could be the tube imploding and killing everyone on board. This is the worst-case scenario. None of the victims would have survived, as an implosion would have likely been caused by some design defects, including structural integrity and pressure resistance, and as at the time communication was lost, the vessel would have been just shy of 10,000 feet below the surface. At which point, the enormous water pressure would mean any tiny weakness, crack or fissure to the submersible's hull would cause it to instantly implode. The pressure that far under the water's surface is around 6,000 pounds per square inch, which the carbon fiber and titanium exterior of the Titan was designed to withstand. But what about oxygen? With such an enormous amount of oxygen enclosed in such a small amount of space in the tube, it's a complete recipe for disaster. So yes, implosion could be the major culprit here. But wait a minute. How is it that the Canadian research vessel Polar Prince, working with them at the time with all their sonar and monitoring systems, are unable to get a single signal on their radar about the implosion even when they're directly on top of them? Was it really an implosion or something else? Let's look at another possibility. The submersible vehicle currently lost at sea is part of a relatively new effort enabling tourists and other paying customers to explore the depths of the ocean, the vast majority of which has never been seen by human eyes. Though people have been exploring the ocean's surface for tens of thousands of years, only about 20% of the seafloor has been mapped, according to 2022 figures from the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Researchers often say that traveling to space is easier than plunging to the bottom of the ocean. While 12 astronauts have spent a collective total of 300 hours on the lunar surface, only 3 people have spent around 3 hours exploring the deep. At the astonishing depth of 10,000 feet below the surface and downward to the base of the Titanic shipwreck is a total abyss of darkness and downright deadly sea creatures and monsters unknown to science. The mysteries of the ocean and the fact that we can actively observe only a tiny portion of the underwater world at any given moment lends itself well to the imagination. Over the years, many myths and legends have arisen from the depths of the deep blue sea, some of them total nonsense, others based in reality of dangerous sea monsters and creatures never before seen. What if there was an encounter with one of these? Well, that could be left to your imagination. What if they got stuck on any of the part of the Titanic itself and they are unable to break free? Dr. Michael Gielan, a former journalist and news correspondent speaking about his own haunting experience, was the science editor for ABC News when he was invited to dive to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean to report on the Titanic shipwreck in year 2000. According to him, when the submersible reached the overturned stern of the Titanic, he noticed the submersible was accelerating too fast towards the ship's propeller. Their sub had been caught in a high-speed underwater current, which led to the sub smashing into the 21-ton propeller, and he soon found they were permanently lodged beneath the huge propeller. In his words, not only did we feel the impact of the collision, but huge pieces of the Titanic started falling down on us, and we knew we were in trouble. So is there a possibility of them getting stuck or buried under the wreckage? Another scenario could be system failure. Some common design considerations for submersibles include structural integrity, pressure resistance, buoyancy control, life support systems, propulsion, and maneuverability. Flaws in any of these areas could potentially lead to operational issues or safety concerns. Before boarding submarines from Ocean Gate, Travelers were warned in a contract that it has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, motion trauma, or death. The disclaimer is part of a long list of concerns regarding the company's safety record. A lawsuit, a letter from industry leaders, and comments from the company's own CEO, one of the missing crewmen, all pointed to potential issues with the Titan submersible. In 2018, the company fired David Lockridge, Ocean Gate's director of marine operations. They claimed he breached his contract and shared confidential information about its designs with two individuals, as well as with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. According to the suite, Mr. Lockridge delivered highly critical updates regarding the ship's quality control to senior management and Ocean Gate CEO Stockton Rush, pointing to alleged issues such as visible flaws in the ship's carbon fiber hull, prevalent flaws in a scale model, flammable materials on board, a viewing window not rated for the Titanic's depth, and key safety documents that were not shared with him. So it's possible the trip was already a disaster waiting to happen. I commensurate with the families of the likely deceased and hope the situation could overturn on a positive side. Thank you for watching our videos on Tech Evolution Center. See you next time.
I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety filling up every space, no